it's reasonably easy for us because it is a bit boring, it is a bit cliched, but it's something we've been saying for, 5 or 6 weeks now, that for us it's always about the next game, and internally we bring it back even further to the next training session, what we can get out of that to build us into the next game, and the next game for us is Scotland. I suppose 12 months ago was the same thing. Going into this fixture, everyone was talking about a game that was so far in the distance that I suppose the players didn't even think about it, because you don't even know if you're going to get there. And it's no different this time round. You know, we know, and I think if anyone even thought about looking forward to a game next weekend, that result in Murrayfield just under 2 weeks ago really made sure that you're focused on the task at hand.
And on a personal level, what about your own contract situation? Do you expect to be staying for the World Cup?
Yeah, look, I think that's at a fairly advanced stage, and we hopefully will have an announcement fairly soon about that. And I feel I'm playing pretty well, and I suppose my stance on it hasn't changed in the last while. And yeah, just with a few unforeseen circumstances, it hasn't been as quickly through as we'd like. But yeah, look, hopefully we'll have news on that, good, bad, or indifferent, in the future, very near future.
Rory, in terms of just going back to last year, the bus situation, obviously you touched on, obviously you could see at the time that frustrated Joe. I mean, was that, obviously at the time it was a big problem, but in hindsight, is that a good learning experience? You know, just being able to cover those things, and obviously Joe talks about the bubble, but sometimes things are going to...
Yeah, like it's massive, because you get into this environment and everything is put on perfect for you, and you don't expect little bits and pieces like that. You know, you get police escorts to the game, you don't expect traffic to be an issue, and by and large you kind of forget what it's actually like going to and from a stadium, and how busy it is, and how much there is going on. So look, for us it was a big learning curve, and it's something that at the time in the warm-up at Murrayfield, we just let things just get away from us. And like, it isn't an excuse, because we fought our way back into that game, and we took the lead with 15 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go, maybe less, and we got ourselves back into that, and then we breathed a sigh of relief. And at this level, if you breathe a sigh of relief and go, right, this feels comfortable, this feels good, we're in control, like that, you lose control again, and that's what happened. And against good sides like Scotland, they capitalised, and they caught us at the start of the game, and then they caught us when we took the lead again.
In that period between walking out onto the pitch and the presentations and the anthems, when we're watching you, what's going through your mind? What are you looking out for? Are you looking for folks in the stand? What are you looking for?
I think firstly, in the back of your mind, you're trying to go over like a last little bit of rehearsal in your head about what you perceive the first moments of the game to look like for you. Obviously, first tackles, first carries, first ruck cleans, first set piece. But then ultimately, you're probably concentrating on a few things that are important to you. I think by and large, you know roughly where your families are going to sit. So you try to maybe you either look up there physically or you look up there mentally, and you picture the important things to you. And obviously for me, it's my family, and I know that they're always there to support me, and like they're the last little bits you draw on. In big occasions, I guess you draw on every little bit of motivation you can.
Can you see them? Is your eyesight big enough to see them from there?
They are, yeah. Thankfully, I'm not that old that I can still see them. Yeah, look, and like I say, you know roughly they are, and you just catch the eye, and it's not hard to see them.
Rory, how much of a step back into the fixture is it for Garry Ringrose this weekend? And did you have a bit of a captain's advice, given that he's only played something like six games all season?
Yeah, look, I think for Garry is, I think what comes with that little bit of youth, and I've said it loads of times before, is there's a little bit less of a fear factor, because you know you don't know, you haven't maybe faced as many adversities as somebody with 60 plus caps, for example. But look, for Gary's a phenomenal talent, and I think the impressive thing about him and a lot of the younger guys is how they look after themselves when they're injured. I suppose it used to be back in the day that was your excuse to maybe let yourself go a little bit, knowing that you could catch it back up with a few games. But you think when Garry came into camp the first time before he played for Leinster, he looked as sharp as he did 12 months ago, and I think it's impressive. And look, he's an impressive character and an impressive guy, and it's going to be, I'm sure, the first moments of the game he'll probably be trying to catch his breath, but the important thing for him is he looks around, he'll see 29 other people will be trying to do the same as he is, and that's test match rugby, and that's really the big thing for him, is just moment by moment, and just don't build into the game, try to explode into the game.
Rory, you said Scotland are building, that they're a threat, but their away records in this tournament's pretty appalling. Are they the same proposition away from Murrayfield? They crumbled in Canada, they crumbled in Twickenham last year.
Look, I think when you look at that first game in Cardiff, and you look at the squad they've named now versus there, there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of very important people who have come back in, and look, I think it'd be rich if I stood up here and say that, that you can't be caught cold at the start of a championship. It happened to us 12 months ago, and it happened to them a little bit. But yeah, we don't really focus on home or away records or anything like that. We focus on the team, and we focus on the threats, and whenever we're doing the analysis, we don't look at the stadium they're playing in, we look at how they execute moves. And I think on any given day, on any given pitch, we know that they have players capable of executing plays, stuff at the breakdown that will threaten any team. So that's what we're looking at, and we, as we always are, aren't really that fazed by records or statistics. It's all about the actual, what they're playing on any given bit of grass.
Rory, Ireland had defensive issues. Have they been fixed, or has your confidence in your defence been shaken in any way?
I don't think it's ever. I think when you sit in any of the presentations that Andy Farrell gave, and I think no matter what team you're in, whether it's Ireland or whether it's with the Lions, he knows what he's talking about, and everyone trusts in that system. I think the thing for us is to make sure that we follow through with it. It's been highlighted a bit. In France it was good, one momentary lapse of concentration, and they scored. Against Italy it was good, and then we felt the game was over, and we let them come in for some tries. And then look, against Wales, they're a good attacking outfit, and we probably didn't have the triggers quickly enough to go from the attack into defence. And look, it'd be a very strange game if you didn't have something to work on. And for us, it's to make sure that when we have the ball, and not that long ago, probably the reverse was the problem. We were defending really well, and when we got the ball back, we kind of weren't really sure what to do with it. And now we're attacking really well, and we just got to get used to, right, we don't have the ball, let's get it back again. Because ultimately everyone wants to play with the ball and everyone wants to attack, and we need to make sure that when we don't have it, our main aim is to get it back again.
So will it be better tomorrow?
Well, look, we've trained very hard for 2 weeks to make sure it is better. Yeah.
Okay, guys, we'll leave. Sorry, one last one. If you do concede that amount of tries again, Rory, is it the case then that, like you said, the attack needs to be better as well because of that? I mean, if you concede that amount of tries again, you can still win the game.
We sort of see them, on one hand, they're in isolation. We need to make sure that our attack is really good, and we have a couple of things that we know we have to get right to make sure the attack's good. The ball carry needs to be good. He needs to look after the ball. We need to be good at the breakdown, especially with the back row they have. And then we also have similar things in defence that we know we need to be good at. And they're separate issues to a large extent, but then it's that crossover that we need to make sure that the transition from one to the other is as seamless as possible, and we don't necessarily look at it in an attack meeting to go, look, we need to score loads of points just in case we concede loads of points. We look at it and go, at this level, if and when we create an opportunity, we have to take as many as we can, and when we don't have the ball, we need to deny them and give them as few opportunities as we can, because ultimately really, really good teams will, if you give them enough, no matter how good your defence is, if you let them create opportunities, they will take some of them at a minimum.